Hello, and welcome back to my channel. Today, let's paint this beautiful landscape in Krita using just a few brushes. Let's begin. For this project, I'm using an A3 horizontal canvas with 300 dpi resolution. As usual, I'm going to start with a rough sketch. For the sketching, I'm using these custom pencil brushes pack. These are really great in reproducing real-life pencil and paper-like textures and are my favorite for sketching. You can download these from the Krita website. I will add the link in the video description. For sketching, I usually use a red or a neutral gray color. Let's first just roughly bring in the loose shapes of the mountains, hills, and trees. We can define the shapes further on once we get the composition right. Once I have the rough sketch ready, I reduce the layer opacity and set the blending mode to multiply. I add this layer to a group and label it sketch, just to keep the file systematic. Change the blending mode of the group to multiply. Keep the sketch layer on top of all the layers so we can always see the sketch as a reference when we paint the elements in the layers below. Now create another layer group below the sketch group. Name it Color. As you can assume, we will place all the color layers in this group. Now let's start making layers for each of the different elements in this painting. The sky, rolling hills, trees, and the house, they will each be on a separate layer. I always start from the farthest object in the scene, and then come towards the foreground. So let's start with the sky. For the sky layer, I just fill the entire canvas with the Fill Bucket tool. Shortcut F on the keyboard. Choose a light blue on the color picker and click anywhere on the canvas to fill the blue color. To paint the other shapes, now I will use the Shapes Fill brush. Look for a brush that looks like a flask filled with a green paint. With this tool, you can draw the shapes of the objects, and it will automatically fill that shape with the color you have selected. Here, if you use the default brush, keyboard shortcut B, there is no stabilization, and the shapes look a bit jagged. So I use this stabilizing brush tool for most of my inking and color filling purposes. Select a blue that's darker than the sky and paint in the farthest mountain range. Now create new layers for each mountain and progressively select darker blue shades for each mountain. Notice that I don't bother about the bottom part of the mountains. That's because that part will be hidden by the foreground hills and trees. Now similarly for the green hills, select different hues of green for each hill layer and trace over the sketch shapes. Now for the winding road on the front hill. If you want to erase an extra part, there are a few ways to do it. 1. Use an eraser brush. 2. Keep using the same Shapes Fill brush but press E to activate eraser mode. Now instead of adding paint, it will erase the paint in the shape you draw. Press Ctrl and click on the hill layer, which is below the road, so that the hill layer is selected. Now press Ctrl-Shift-I to invert selection. Press Delete to erase the part. Now, let's paint the house. Again, using the Shape Fill tool, draw the shapes of the house on separate layers. That's the walls, the roof, and the door. Whenever you need to draw any geometrical or inorganic elements, you can use the Polygon tool in combination with the Shape Fill brush to create perfect straight-lined objects, like the roof here. The walls and door can also be done in the same way. Put the house layers in a new group named House and place it below the foreground hill. Now let's quickly create the shapes for the trees. The Shape Fill tool is already selected. Use the Stabilizing Brush tool and now select a dark green hue from the color picker. Observe the spatial positioning of the trees in the scene and place the tree layers behind the respective hill. I missed painting the clouds, so here I'm creating a layer just above the blue sky layer for the clouds. And there we have the basic colors already in, and the painting already looks great so far. Now let's dive into the details. Now that we have all the elements in the scene, we don't need the sketch reference anymore. So go ahead and turn off the visibility of the sketch layer. Click on the eye icon next to the layer name to toggle on and off the layer visibility. An important step in the painting is turning on the alpha lock for all the layers. Alpha lock basically means that it will confine any further editing of the layer to the pixels we have already drawn. That means we won't paint outside the painted areas of each layer. This is very helpful in the shading stage, when we don't want to paint outside the shapes that we have drawn. You will see what I mean once we start painting. Unfortunately, you can't select all the layers and turn on the alpha lock in one click. At least not in this version of Krita. Hopefully they will add the feature in the next version. I am grouping the layers here, just to make a more clean and systematic work file. I'm grouping each element separately, such as the clouds, mountains, background hills, foreground hills, and house. This is an optional step, but it's a good habit to have when you have many layers in your file. It becomes very easy to navigate. Let's start painting the shading. For this project, I'm just going to use the texture spray brush for all the shading. It's a default brush that comes pre-installed with Krita. Select white from the color picker and paint from the top edges of the first cloud layer. Adjust the size of the brush as per your requirement. The keyboard shortcut for brush size is the square bracket keys. Notice how the alpha lock that we enabled on each layer is helping us here. We can paint freely without worrying that the paint will spill outside the shapes we have drawn. Now move on to the mountains. Press and hold Ctrl and click on any area to pick the color. Now adjust the hue on the color wheel. Use darker and lighter shades to paint in the shading. While picking colors, be free to change the hue on the outer ring of the color picker. This brings variation in the colors. For example, the hills are green, but you can select hues from yellow, grays, and dark blues to lightly vary the hues on the hills. Similarly for the trees, don't limit yourself to green, but add in a hint of blue to the shading. This will give a nice depth effect. I am constantly picking colors and painting in so as to blend the colors smoothly. Paint the foreground trees very dark to bring in the depth effect. Here's another trick. You can use the selection tool to select a particular area on your layer and paint only that part. Here I used the square selection tool and selected the shadow area of the wall, so I can paint only in that area. I am adding just a few tiny details here. Create a layer above the foreground hill to paint some flowers. I won't turn off the alpha lock on this layer. I'm using the texture splat brush to paint flowers with a pale yellow color. Now for the branches of the trees, I'm taking a traditional looking brush called Ink Sumi E for this. Just create layer above the tree layer and paint in simple branches. Use a darker shade of the green used in the trees. Some more detail, like a few birds in the sky, texture on the roof of the house, and a bit depth to the winding footpath. And there you have it. Your simple and easy landscape on Krita is ready to be framed and hung on the wall. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comment section. If you have any questions, I'm always available to help. Do suggest what video would you like to see next. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel so I can create more of such content for you.